I'm Eric. Today's episode is going to be really exciting because we're going to retell the whole story in English. How can we do that? We can't make something out of nothing. 巧妇难为无米之炊啊！要想复述整个故事，必须要有正确的方法，因为方法一对，事半功倍。今天我给大家介绍超级实用的 BPTE 结构，让你高效复述故事，也希望你能写出更加精彩的故事。我们今天的课程分为两个部分 Part 1, retell the story. Part 2, create your own stories. Okay, let's get a show on the road. 我一直是这一句话，结构在手，故事不愁，只有思路清晰才能流畅讲述。今天我们一起来学习一个最常见的故事结构，然后用它来复述苏武牧羊的故事。这个结构就是我们刚刚说的 BPTE。B stands for background, 背景，故事发生的背景主要包括时间、地点、人物或者相关事件，甚至文化背景等等。P stands for problem, 问题，故事中的问题可能是一个问题或者多个问题。T stands for turning point, 转折点，故事的转折点通常是问题得到解决之时。E stands for ending, 结局，故事的结局在这个环节我们还可以谈谈我们相关的感受，或者说故事的相关影响。First, let's take a look at the B background of this story. When and where, the time when and the place where the story took place. The Han Dynasty, 具体来说100 BC, 公元前100年。Who? The characters mentioned in the story. There were several characters in this story. The column on the left includes the names of the people. They were 苏武、卫律、常惠 A new Khan of the 匈奴，匈奴新单于 Emperor Wu, 汉武帝。The column on the right side includes some information related to these people. Eager to show friendship to the new Khan, 渴望向新单于示好。A diplomat and an envoy of the Han Dynasty, 汉朝一名外交家和使臣。The prefect of Thai commandery in the Han Dynasty, promoted to 中郎将 later. 汉朝代郡太守后被提拔为中郎将。Came to power, 上台或者执政了。An envoy of the Han Dynasty before submitting to the Xiongnu, 曾是汉朝使节，后来归降匈奴了。Now please pause the video and match the people with the right information. Time is up. Let's check the answers. Su Wu was the prefect of Thai commandery in the Han Dynasty and was promoted to Zhonglangjiang later. Wei Lü had been an envoy of the Han Dynasty before submitting to the Xiongnu. Chang Hui was a diplomat and an envoy of the Han Dynasty. A new Khan of the Xiongnu came to power. Emperor Wu was eager to show friendship to the new Khan. Now let's put some of them together so that we can have a better understanding of the background of the story. Let's do it. Su Wu was the prefect of Thai commandery in the Han Dynasty, 206 BC to 220 AD. In 100 BC, he was promoted to Zhonglangjiang, a senior officer in the early Han Dynasty. In the same year, a new Khan of the Xiongnu came to power, and Emperor Wu of the Han Dynasty, eager to show his friendship to the new Khan, sent Su Wu as his envoy, leading a retinue of over 100 persons to escort some detained Xiongnu envoys back to their country. This should have been good news for both countries, but a problem arose. So now it's the P problem part. 苏武遇到的问题是什么呢？大家还记不记得呢？ The problem was a torturing one, including three main events. Number one, Su Wu was arrested by the Xiongnu. 苏武被匈奴扣押下来了。Number two, he was confined in an open pit in the winter. 寒冬时，他被关在了一个地窖之中。Number three, he was banished to the far north to tend sheep. 他被流放到遥远的北方去牧羊。 Let's look at the first instant. Why did it happen? Just as Su was preparing to return home at the end of his mission, turmoil broke out among the upper ranks of the Xiongnu. The Han envoys somehow became implicated and were arrested as hostages in an attempt to subvert Han. What happened after Su was arrested? Let's take a look at the second event. At first, the Khan sent Wei Lu to persuade Su to cooperate with him, even offering him a senior post with a high salary. But Su adamantly refused. Therefore, the Khan decided to try punishment. He ordered that Su be confined in an open pit in a cold, snowy winter without food or water. The Khan thought that this treatment would make Su submit. How did he survive? Su 是如何熬过来的呢? But as the days went by, Su endured by drinking snow he melted on his own body, and chewing on his sheepskin robe when he was hungry. When he was cold, he huddled in the warmest corner of the pit. He showed not the slightest sign of submitting. Here comes the third event. Su was banished to the far north to tend sheep. Why? Well, the Khan's respect for Su increased. He didn't have the heart to put him to death, nor was he willing to send him back to his own country. So he said to Su, "Since you refuse to submit, I'm going to send you to tend sheep. When those sheep or rams give birth to lambs, then I will send you back to Han." That's a mission impossible for Su because obviously rams or male sheep can't give birth to lambs. Su was banished to the shore of Lake Baikal in what is now Siberia. The area was sparsely inhabited and bone-piercingly cold. Every day, Su used his token staff to marshal the rams and thought constantly of his native land. How did he survive this time? Well, when he was thirsty, he chewed a handful of snow. When he was hungry, he dug up wild roots from the ground. And when he was cold, he huddled next to the sheep. Day after day and year after year, he tended sheep until the oxtail on his token staff had completely fallen off, and his beard and hair had turned white. By this time, both the Khan who had exiled Su and Emperor Wu of the Han Dynasty had died. Emperor Wu had been succeeded by Emperor Zhao. Every cloud has a silver lining. 黑暗中总有一丝光明. So here comes the T turning point of Su's experience. Su 的转折点是什么呢？首先是一场内乱 internal strife. 其次还有一只大雁 a large wild goose. 到底是怎么回事呢？ The internal strife among the Xiongnu created a chance for the return of Su. 匈奴内乱给苏武回归创造了机会。A large wild goose served as a messenger of hope for Su. 一只大雁是苏武希望的信使。它们之间到底有什么联系呢？我们一起来看一下下文。In 85 BC, internal strife broke out among the Xiongnu, and the new Khan did not have enough troops to ward off Han incursions, so he dispatched an envoy to seek peace. At the same time, Emperor Zhao sent an envoy to the Xiongnu to demand the return of Su Changhui and the other members of his entourage. The Khan, however, claimed that Su had died. 这个时候大雁出场了。But the envoy knew the truth and was incensed at the Khan, saying, "Out hunting one day, our emperor brought down a large goose. Tied around one of his legs was a scrap of silk with a message in Su's own hand. He said that he was tending sheep by Lake Baikal. How dare you try to deceive our emperor?" The Khan immediately apologized to the emperor and promised to send Su back to Han. Now it's time for the E ending. 结局大家都知道了。 苏武归来，百姓热烈欢迎。In 81 BC, Su finally arrived back in Chang'an. The local people poured into the streets to welcome him back, praising him as an incorruptible official. Wonderful, we have told a whole story. Now let's go over the structure again. BPT structure. B. In 100 BC, Emperor Wu of the Han Dynasty sent Su Wu as his envoy to the Xiongnu. P. Su was arrested and confined in an open pit and later banished to the far north to tend sheep. T. The internal strife among the Xiongnu created a chance for the return of Su. And E. In 81 BC, Su finally arrived back in Chang'an. Okay, now let's go into part 2, create your own stories. 苏牧羊的故事被我们轻松拿下来了。接下来我们要学以致用，我们要用所学的 BPT 结构写出自己喜欢的故事。I'd like you to create your own stories. 我们先说一下故事选材，可以是自己的故事、他人的故事、普通人的故事、名人的故事，甚至是虚构的故事都可以，但一定要积极正面，有所启发。其次，故事主旨，苏牧羊体现了他忠诚、正直、爱国、坚韧不拔、尽忠职守的品质。所以大家选材的时候呢，也要围绕这些品质进行选择。最后我们说一下故事结构。我们今天讲的 BPT 结构是最常见的故事结构之一，它相当于一个故事的骨架，能让你理清故事的基本脉络。你需要往里面添加血和肉就是各种生动的细节，这样呢整个故事才鲜活生动。关于结构呢，我们再一起温故知新一下。B. Background 背景，想想你故事的背景，包括时间、地点、人物或者相关事件，甚至文化背景等等。故事的背景就有点像很多电影开场的定场镜头。B. Establishing shot 就是影片一开始的一个远景，用来明确交代故事背景的镜头，给故事做了很好的铺垫。P. Problem 问题，想想故事主人翁遇到了什么问题呢？是一个问题还是多个问题？如果是多个问题，要注意理清其中的关系。T. Turning point 转折点，想想主人翁的问题是怎么得到解决的呢？是凭借自己的意志、智慧，亦或借助他人之力解决的呢？或者两者兼顾？但不管怎么样，记得这个过程的描述要能体现我们之前说的故事主旨，就是要体现主人翁的某个或者某些品质，忠诚、正直、爱国、坚韧不屈、尽忠职守等等。Ending 结局，可以想想故事是一个 happy ending 还是 a sad ending or an open ending 开放式结局，留下悬念，那样的话你还可以继续写续集哦。还有故事影响是什么呢？或者你从这个故事当中收获什么呢？你想向读者传达什么样的信息等等。如果你能做到这一点，说明你的故事是能provide food for thought 引人深思的。We are looking forward to your stories.